Food Stories.
This is Food Stories.
This is Food Stories, a podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
A podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
A podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
Hello and welcome to Food Stories from FareShare Greater Manchester. FareShare Greater Manchester is the largest food redistribution charity in the northwest of England, rescuing good-to-eat surplus food from going to waste and redistributing it to charities and community groups who are serving their communities with food. This time we're heading to Bury to visit one of our community food members, which is using food from FareShare Greater Manchester in a pantry and a community cafe, as well as offering support in many other ways. Trust House Bury.
Most of the people who come to us regularly have come to us because of our food offering, whether that's in community cafe because they want something hot to eat in the middle of the day, or whether that's through food pantry. And it's through coming a couple of times, speaking to volunteers, speaking to team members, speaking to other visitors, that then they feel like, oh, actually this is a place where I can work with people to make things better for me, or this is a place where I don't have to go home and be on my own. I can be with similar people who aren't going to judge me if some days I come in my pyjamas, who aren't going to judge me if some days I just want to sit in the corner and not talk to anyone, who aren't going to judge me because I'm going to eat 20 pieces of toast because I haven't eaten anything since Tuesday afternoon. And it just creates that place where then they feel safe and then they can start to have those conversations about what they can do to move themselves forward.
You can really see it in people when they come in and for example, with Art Club, people will come in and they'll show me what they've been working on at home, which I feel so proud. I feel like, wow, that's great. They've gone away and they've taken kind of what we've been doing and they say, oh, I've been doing this at home, it really helps me. People just, I think as well when you've got regulars coming in, that says to me that they like being here, that they're getting something from it as well.
It is a sense of a community coming together. Don't matter what colour, race, age, gender, nothing like that matters. You can all just come together and voice your opinion and be yourself, which is quite nice. Sometimes coming to a place you can feel like you're an outcast, which I can vouch for that you don't. You're always welcomed.
Trust House Bury is a community centre based in the Metro Christian Centre on Park Hills Road in Bury. They offer free support, advice and guidance to those in need, and in the 7 years it's been running, they've been working with individuals across the borough, helping with all sorts of barriers from food poverty and fuel insecurity to mental health wellbeing. Katie Jenkinson is the centre manager.
Trust House Bury started actually in Whitefield, funnily enough, right at the beginning of 2019. And the idea was that we were right in the middle of a fairly deprived community. We wanted to open the doors of a community centre and see what the need was for those residents and for those people, and then shape our service around what those people needed. So initially we had a community cafe and just a safe, warm space. So we'd serve breakfast and lunch 4 times a week and build relationships with people, have conversations, find out some of the barriers that they were facing and how we could work together to overcome them. Obviously, in 2020, the pandemic hit and that changed things dramatically for us and for lots of other charities. And that was really where food took a bit of a turn for us. So previously, food had always been very much about sharing a meal with somebody, and in that sharing that meal, issues would be uncovered, people would disclose things to us, and then food became a bit more transactional. We were delivering food parcels to people who had been coming to us regularly, who'd been eating with us regularly, and then because we wear bright orange, word got out very quickly that people were delivering these food parcels, and it very quickly became totally unsustainable to deliver food in the way that we were. So when restrictions eased a little bit and children were allowed back to school, we decided that we wanted to do something that we'd kind of had in the pipeline since right at the beginning, which was to have a food pantry where people could choose their own items for a small fee. So we did that in September 2020, opened the doors with tins of beans and tins of tuna stacked on tables out of crates, and just allowed people to come in and do a bit of a shop. So that continued along those lines, and it grew and it developed, and we started getting fresh fruit and vegetables from a local supplier. But we really quickly realised that what we had on offer wasn't enough for people. In 2022, at the beginning of 2022, we moved to our current premises in Bury, and we saw an opportunity then to make Food Pantry something more and to start our partnership with FareShare, which has been absolutely amazing. So from going from tins stacked up on tables, we now have shelves, we have fridges, we have freezers, we have fresh fruit and vegetables every week, and we have a really good selection of food that people can actually create meals from, rather than have a tin of chopped tomatoes and a bit of spaghetti and good luck.
Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? That the whole meal can be made from what they pick up.
Yes, definitely. Part of what we do in our food pantry as well is very much still moving away from that transactional way of working, that we have conversations with people. So at the minute we have we're part of the scheme, Vegalicious scheme, which we absolutely adore and love. Sometimes we think, how are we ever going to get rid of all this fruit and veg? But it always goes. It's been lovely to have fruit and veg that maybe people aren't so familiar with. And there's kind of a bit of a risk-free element of buying it or having it as part of your point system in a pantry, as opposed to going to a supermarket and buying a pineapple or buying some tender stem broccoli. There's no risk involved. So if you get it from us you get a big bag of tender stem broccoli for 1 point, you can, if you don't like it and your kids don't like it, you've not really lost anything. Whereas if you buy a big bag of tender stem broccoli from Aldi or Sainsbury's or Tesco for £2, that's a big chunk of what might be your only budget. So we will encourage people to say, tender stem broccoli is great, you just need to steam it or put it in a stir fry or chop it up, and you can use it in the same way that you use broccoli. And we'll have those conversations and say, have you ever tried celeriac? Mash it up with a bit of your potatoes. Have you ever tried these spring onions in a salad? And quite often we find people saying, oh no, and then they come back and they say, have you got celeriac this week? I really enjoyed it. It was something really different. So like everything that we do in Trust House, it's always about building relationships. It's always about listening to the people who come through our doors, finding out what it is that they need and how we can help them to kind of achieve that.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. My name's Gemma and I'm a community support worker here at Trust House.
And what do you do here on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so we're open 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday and Thursdays we run the pantry, so where people can come in and it's like a little mini supermarket. They can come and get a shop for all the essentials that they need at a real reduced price, so it really helps people out. We get the fruit and veg come in every Monday as well, so we get loads of fresh fruit and veg produce, so that really encourages people to kind of go home and use fresh produce and create cooking that way. I also run some arts and crafts as well, so on a Friday I've set up like an art club so I do lots of different activities where people come in especially to do that and create lots of work. So you will have noticed on the way in like the kind of stained glass stuff. I've been doing that on Fridays with people, so just kind of activities to kind of keep people engaged with Trust House, but also good for kind of mental health and escaping and having that time set aside to come and create something. So a bit of a mixed role really. Obviously we've got lots of other things going on like the cafe, serving breakfast and lunch every day. So yeah, a real good mix of things, and that's what I really love about it. Every day is different, you meet different people, it's certainly not boring, and that's what I thrive off. So yeah, it's really, really great place to be. Because I go home and I feel like I've had a really rewarding day, and I'm chatting about it and saying how great it's been. So yeah, it's definitely a really, really great place to be. Yeah.
What kind of a feedback do you get from members of the community when they come and use the pantry and the various different...
We get really good feedback, and you can really see it in people when they come in and for example, with Art Club, people will come in and they'll show me what they've been working on at home, which I feel so proud. I feel like, wow, that's great. They've gone away and they've taken kind of what we've been doing, and they say, oh, I've been doing this at home, it really helps me. People just, I think as well, when you've got regulars coming in, that says to me that they like being here, that they're getting something from it as well. And we do get thanks from people as well. So people will say, they'll always say thank you, and they'll just kind of, you can just kind of see it in them, really.
Obviously the fruit and veg is coming from FareShare. What kind of feedback do you get from people about the fruit and veg, and the variety and new things that come along?
Yeah, they're loving it, and especially if you start talking to them during pantry about recipes, sometimes they might forget, and then they'll say, oh yeah, actually I can use that, I know I'll make that tonight, and so it brings up that conversation really about obviously good food, healthy food, recipes that they can use, and then it's a really good way to get to know people as well about their home lives if they've got children at home. So that's kind of, you're not just feeding the person here, you're feeding their families as well. So that's really, really good to know that you kind of, it's being passed on within their families and communities as well. So yeah, really, really great feedback with the fruit and veg. I would say it's really, really popular, and it's absolutely something we need to keep doing, definitely.
Visitors to Trust House Berries Community Pantry can pay a small fee in order to access a range of goods on a weekly basis. They also offer a loyalty card, meaning that the sixth shop is free. One of the visitors who was there during our visit had been coming to the pantry for 4 years and said it's a really important resource for the community.
It's a lifeline, to be honest. I think obviously, places like obviously what Kate does and the guys here do is absolutely fantastic, because obviously for someone like me who's got a young family and stuff, and obviously, financially the purse strings are very pulled, been able to, especially like with the fresh fruit and veg, this is what I was saying before with Andy and having a giggle, I do a lot of fresh cooking, so I will use a lot of the more fresh produce, so I will sway towards the more of the fresh. Obviously the tins are great, obviously I've got young kids and stuff, but all the fresh means a lot more to me, because as you can appreciate it, the price has gone up day by day in supermarkets and things like that and stuff. And to be honest, whether it's yourselves or whether it's other people who support, there is a quite big number of variety of fruit and veg that does come across and stuff, so and it is all good quality that will last in the fridge freezers and things like that and stuff. So for someone like me who can't afford to spend as much in a supermarket, because by the time you've bought your lettuce, your cucumber, tomatoes, your basics, your shopping bill's gone, whereas here there is that variety of obviously having some extra fruit and veg that particularly maybe not bought because it's not actually a necessary product to buy. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic,
And from what I've seen so far, it's not just the food, it's the community.
No, yes, so then the other, obviously, side of that and stuff, obviously it's coming, you recognise people and stuff. Like I said, I've been coming for quite a number of years and stuff. The team, the staff, they're not just staff, they will ask about how you're doing, how you're feeling today, greet you with a smile, warm welcome and stuff. The environment. I like I said, I have a young child, so I know this place of coming because I bring my little boy to a different club here that they run and stuff. It's absolutely free and things like that and stuff, and there's other mums, other kids, they've got loads of toys that they play with and stuff, so it's just a good warm space to come to. And then obviously like this, obviously when there is activities going on, like there's cooking programs and things like that and stuff, I can use some of my skills and I can learn some, and Alison in the kitchen gives us great ideas of when she does her food cooking. I've tasted a few times the food when I can stay, so it is a sense of a community coming together. Don't matter what colour, race, age, gender, nothing like that matters. You can all just come together and voice your opinion and be yourself, which is quite nice. Sometimes coming to a place you can feel like you're an outcast, which I can vouch for that you don't. Whether you're a day old, whether you're 4 years old like me, you're always welcomed regardless of however long you've been coming. So it's more than just, like I said, a food bank. It is another place that you can come. Like obviously there's a bit of a brick and brack shops and stuff. I bought a load of books for my daughter, that I probably potentially wouldn't have been able to go and buy. But here, they're all brand spanking new stuff, books and things like that and stuff. And, I can donate stuff here as well that can make use for somebody else. So it is really nice to come to a place where it is open and they are open in a number of days. And anyone and everyone is most welcome to come in that sort of sense. It doesn't matter whether you have £50 in your pocket, whether you have a fiver. So that's really nice to feel that everyone's equal. There is no, I know you and you've been coming for 4 years, you get special treatments. It doesn't work like that. So it's absolutely nice just to come and like I said, it's a warm place to come. So. And I come time and time again, so I must say something.
It's working.
It definitely is.
For Katie and the team at Trust House Bury, they say that by offering easily accessible food in their pantry and community cafe, it helps pave the way to having more in-depth conversations.
Food is our gateway, it's our hook, but really it's about talking to people, finding out what they need. Quite often when we're having an interaction with somebody in pantry, we'll be helping somebody pick what food items they like, and you can find that someone's really hesitant, and it might be that then one of the volunteers will say, what have you got to cook on? And then we discover that actually they haven't had an oven for 3 years, or they've had their gas capped and they haven't been able to do anything about that they haven't got the money for gas and electricity. And then from there, rather than going, oh well, you can just have food that you can just use a kettle, we'll say, okay, well, you come in and speak to one of our other staff members who can help you speak to housing, who can help you get your gas uncapped, who can think about how are you maximising your household budget. How can we make things better for you? And I think that's the beauty of us and other charities like us, where it isn't just have a bag of food and off you go and you get what you're given. We allow people that dignity and choice, but also to really uncover some of those challenges people are facing.
Absolutely, and things that appear insurmountable, sometimes just by having a conversation can open up other opportunities and solve problems.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of the people who come to us regularly have come to us because of our food offering, whether that's in community cafe because they want something hot to eat in the middle of the day, or whether that's through food pantry. And it's through coming a couple of times, speaking to volunteers, speaking to team members, speaking to other visitors, that then they feel like, oh, actually this is a place where I can work with people to make things better for me, or this is a place where I don't have to go home and be on my own. I can be with similar people who aren't going to judge me if some days I come in my pyjamas, who aren't going to judge me if some days I just want to sit in the corner and not talk to anyone, who aren't going to judge me because I'm going to eat 20 pieces of toast because I haven't eaten anything since Tuesday afternoon. And it just creates that place where then they feel safe, and then they can start to have those conversations about what they can do to move themselves forward.
What kind of a feedback do you get from the users of Trust House Bury?
So our visitors, we call them visitors because we feel like this is our living room, and we want people to feel like this is their home as much as anything else. So we want them to feel like they come in and they've come to visit us. And so they always tell us that in terms of budgeting, in terms of the kind of the practical side, that they are able to budget better because of food pantry. They tell us that it doesn't necessarily feed everybody in their household for the whole period of the week, which is absolutely fine. It's not intended to do that. But the dent that it makes on their household budget is massive. And I think since FareShare have been involved, since we've been getting food from FareShare, that dent is even bigger, because they can get things like chicken, sometimes they can even get steak. They can get their fresh fruit and vegetables, and they don't have to then supplement that. They can try new things, like I said, risk-free. But I think the biggest feedback that we get is just how comfortable people feel and how included that they feel in something that maybe they haven't felt like that before. And it's lovely to see people almost come back to life after periods of isolation and loneliness, or a period of they've not been in work for a little while and work's been the thing that's got them out of bed. It's nice to be the thing that gets somebody out of bed, and the reason for somebody getting dressed and coming out of the house.
That's amazing. Community is so important,
yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And we do have a community. People look out for each other, which is amazing. I'm always encouraged when we close on a Wednesday, so we're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, and I love it on a Thursday when I can hear people talking about how they've got together on a Wednesday. Maybe they've been around the market together, or they've met up for a cup of tea, and that's what we want to create. We want to create that support network where people are catching each other rather than being isolated on their own.
If you'd like to find out more about the services offered by Trust House Bury, you can find a link to their website in the show notes for this episode. And if you've been inspired by what you've heard and you'd like to find out more about FareShare Greater Manchester and the work we're doing to support charities and community groups across our city and beyond, please have a look at our website to find out how you can support us through food donations, financially, or by volunteering your time to support our operation. Please share this episode with anyone who you think would like to hear it too. And if you're able to, please leave a rating and review on your favourite podcast app to help other people find out about food stories from FareShare Greater Manchester. Until next time, thanks for listening.